Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite warlock practicing necromancer. And tonight I'd like to give an update on the healing process, but also about what's been going on since last Thursday. Um, as most of you know, I spoke about animal spirits, spiritual guides and protectors, such as dogs, cats, even serpents, blackbirds and what they represent. Gave you a little bit of a overview, but also about what happened to my son's mother and myself out on the trails. Um, Now, my dogs and we're big time, woods fanatics, if you will. So we know all the signs about when predators are around. We know, the signs when things really tell you to get the fuck out, if you will. So, because we have a tendency to go off trails, we have a tendency to go places that most people fear to go. So, anyways, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. Now that I'm not in pain and I'm not heavily sedated, I probably should have waited until that first dose wore off before I did that first video, but it's all good. So, anyways, last Thursday morning we dropped our son off at school. We decided to take the dogs out to the trails, unaware of certain factors that let's just say the city has neglected to reveal to the public. Okay. Hey, welcome to the channel. So, anyways, so when Parvo first came out, okay, they gave a public notice of it, but they failed to note and document the locations, even though animal control, shot it up to the health department and so forth. So we lost a puppy at 13 months old because of this BS. Okay, and he was my familiar. He was my pup. So we kind of lost Ring. We lost Ringo on that one. Now, let's fast forward to this last Thursday. So, we're walking out on the trails, just sticking to the main trail. We're on the back side of the trail. And we didn't hear a thing. We didn't see a thing. Hell, our two huskies, Duke and Opal, were just doing their, sniff thing that they do, going back and forth, on either side of the trail, just doing husky things. They didn't even notice it either, but they were just behind me. So they probably didn't even have a chance to even notice that there was something there. So, anyways, all of a sudden, an animal came from my right, grabbed hold of my hand, and took me down. I landed on the head, so I didn't really see the body or the head, just the snout on my hand. It did a lot of damage to my skin, the flesh, and I've got a few gnarly openings, if you will. But for the most part, it could have been a lot worse. So, anyways, once I got my hand free, I went to the ER, which was about a mile down the road. Now, keep in mind that before we had this, journey to the ER, my huskies intervened, which is probably why it let go and ran off. Now, it was definitely a canine. I'm thinking it was a coyote because they've been getting more and more bolder around, the city. And it's not just Bangor, it's also Brewer region. There's been documentation and notes of their activity. But my huskies, did what they were trained to do. Duke is a protector. He's basically been trained as a guard dog. And he definitely did that. He charged right in. I was on my hands and knees with blood running, onto the ground. And he ran right past me. Opal went just in front of me and in between me and Duke. She's a registered ESA, which is an emotional support animal for my son's mother. So she was basically right there just saying, hey, I'm right here. So as familiars and protectors, these guides are there to serve you as witches, warlocks, and they even act as pets, protectors even. So they did their job. They did what they were meant to do. And I do know that somebody had posted, well, apparently the dog still got him. Yeah, that's an obvious fucking thing. Okay. But like I said, it could have been a lot worse. So, anyways, fast forward, we left the trail, went to the ER, and ended up seeing a doctor. And he dressed the wound after they had me clean it. Not sure why they had me clean it when it's their fucking job to clean the wounds and to dress them and all that stuff. They know what they're fucking doing, or at least they should, or they shouldn't have a medical degree. But anyways, they were real cool people. And so, anyways, the doctor had mentioned that there had been a increase of dog bites going into the ER over the last couple of months. And that there was a lot of, how should I say this, abandoned dogs, some with puppies, others with the homeless. Now, keep in mind, nationwide, there's 177,000 plus homeless living on the streets here in America. So, anyways, they gave me roughly about 3 weeks to a month to heal. So, it's only about 3 days later, I came in. I'm on antibiotics, obviously, doing the whole rabies shot thing. I got 2 more shots to make. And it's funny because a lot of people look at you and it's like, do they still do that in the stomach? Because if those of us who are older remember back when they did the circles, it was like 27 shots, around the belly button region of the stomach. No, they do it in the arms now, and it's 4 shots, not 27. So, anyways, so I went in this past Sunday, which was 3 days after the incident. The same doctor came in. He undressed it, looked at it, had me irrigate it, which is basically run my hand underneath hot water, or room temperature water, I should say. And he was completely baffled. Completely baffled. The wound on the back of my hand had basically already begun healing from the inside out and closing. The one on my palm, even though it's got a lot of the palm fat, if you will, right in here on the outside, it's already healing from the inside out. And he's saying that this one's the worst one. When I'm seeing bone on this side, which one do you suppose is the worst one here? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, here it is. So, anyways, he ended up looking at it. He was completely baffled. Couldn't fucking believe it. Right? So, because it's already healing, it's got that, he called it a crystallized skin, which is basically forming inside the wound. Okay? It's closing the wound as it's coming up, and it's already halfway from the initial bottom. So that's awesome, and it's already filling with blood, which is good. Now, here's the kicker. Saturday, we ended up bringing another husky home. Okay? We brought another husky home. And this one is a 2-year-old husky, Siberian husky, purebred. And he happens to be Duke's purebred brother. And I'm talking full brother. Okay? So, you consider that Duke and Opal are half siblings. Okay, they had the same mother but different fathers. Duke and Ember had the same parents, so they're literally in the family here. So, anyways, we brought him home. He got accepted by both Duke and Opal. He got accepted by the family, and he really, when we got him into the home, we took him down to on the way back. We got him his first pup cup. Took him to the dog park, let him play in the kennel. I wanted to see what I had to work with, so we took him into the training court. Had one of those Karens, if you will, going, "Wow, this is the training park." No shit, dumbass. Because if it wasn't a training, kennel, we wouldn't be fucking in here. Obviously, we're trying to figure out what we need to train him in. Wow. Okay. So, anyways, we were done roughly about 10 minutes later, so we brought him home. Now, it took him about a day or two to really get integrated into the household, get used to not being around so many dogs, realizing that he isn't going to have to fight for food or affection. So he really fit in. And it was funny because I get a photo this morning from my son's mother about 4:30 in the morning. And it shows my son face down on the bed, completely passed out still. And there's this puppy, this 2-year-old dog, laying passed out right next to him. And it's like, yep, he's my son's familiar. He is my son's dog. He has chosen my son as his human. And this is stuff that will happen when you bring dogs from, cats or even snakes in, because they take to certain individuals, some more than others. And when it comes to who they answer to, it's always the witch or the warlock that they want to serve. Okay? In this case, every time I called him, he was always around me. When I'm walking around, he's always in the same room with me, and so forth. But when at the end of the day, after I go home, he's there with my son, and he's always around him. Ironic how that works, right? So now we have 3 Siberian Huskies, purebred Siberian Huskies, 2 males, 1 female, and Ember has not been altered in any way yet, but he is going to have that done eventually. He just got his first rabies shot. Now, when we're talking witchcraft and signs of things that are meant to be, you got to have a certain amount of evidence that backs this up. So he was basically posted by the breeder not once but twice. Now, the story goes that he was rehomed at least once or twice during the time that from his birth to the time we got him. Now, since he's been with the breeder, Opal's grandfather has taken a shine to him, so he's got a few scars on his snout and an open sore down just beyond the nose, which is okay. That can be treated. That can be, heal up and all that. So we ended up finding it, and I said, she and I ended up talking about it, and I said, as long as your landlord approves, we'll bring him home and bring him into the pack. Well, guess what? Like I said, he got posted not once, but twice for rehoming, and then on top of that, bam, the landlord said, yeah, you can have him, but we want our rent first. A week in advance. Wow. Awesome, right? And then on top of that, the fact that his rabies shot just ran out, he's up to date on all the other shots. And guess what? A friend of mine shoots me a text, a photo of a free rabies clinic that took place today. It was sponsored by the police department in the small town that this emergency vet clinic is located. So you see all these signs that have built up to say this is meant to be, and then you got the fact that he went with us willingly. He gets into our laps. He comes when he's called. He's great on leash. He's got to learn some structure, but outside of that, he plays well with other dogs. He's unfortunately he's very submissive, but still, as a familiar, as a possible familiar, Ember is one of those kind of dogs that you know it's going to take some time to see if he's going to be a familiar or if he's just going to be a house dog, a regular house pet. But still, that's the update on that aspect. So we did get a third Siberian Husky, purebred, and he looks like a combination between Opal and Ryder. The Ryder was one of Opal and Duke's puppies. He died on June 3rd of this year at only 10 months old. He had basically eaten something that he shouldn't have, and it punctured his internal organs, possibly either the stomach or the intestines. And he basically bled out and developed a blood infection. So they couldn't really do anything for him. But Ringo, they could have definitely have saved if it wasn't for the greed. But shit happens, right? Well, guess what? They'll be dealt with sooner or later. So karma's a bitch, right? It's like an itch. An itch is a bitch. But still, as I tell Duke. But here it is. Even today, when I'm on the phone or with her, with my son's mother, or if I walk through that door, Duke and Opal always come up to me. They sniff my hand, wondering, "You still doing okay?" That's a familiar for you. That's a protector. And the guiding aspect is when you're out walking, they're going to let you know when something's not right. I have seen it with these two pups. Because when we were out walking one night, it was about 11:30, 12 o'clock midnight area, meridian time. And all of a sudden, it was way too fucking quiet around the city blocks where we walk at night. All of a sudden, they just kept looking behind us and just looking behind us. And when three dogs stop constantly looking behind you, that's a sign you need to be paying attention. Okay? They're letting you know, hey, I'm guiding you this way, but guess what? There's something back there. And then all of a sudden, the PD rolls by and go, hey, is everything okay? And it's like, yeah, it's just my dog's just letting me know that something's back there that's been following us since, such and such a street. And he went off to check it out. So that's something that they will do. They will guide you, they will instruct you, and they will protect you. That's what a familiar does. That is what an animal familiar does. They are loyal, they are trustworthy, and they will do their job above and beyond if you let them. Okay? So, but anyways, so I went back, like I said, to the ER on Sunday morning, and the doctor, like I said, was surprised. Now, keep in mind, this happened on Thursday, so you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and now we're on Tuesday. That's 5 days after the initial injury, right? Well, guess what? They said I wouldn't be able to move my fingers for at least 3 weeks. Notice? Because of those wounds. They said this is going to take up to another couple of weeks to heal. Really? I've already done a few push-ups on my hand today alone. On top of that, I've been cleaning my apartment. And as you can see, this finger here is a little stiff. But when you do healing on yourself, when your body does other things through sorcery, you'd be surprised what can happen. And having familiars around just aids in that healing process because, let's face it, who doesn't like to snuggle with a puppy? Who doesn't like getting kissed by a dog? You know what I'm saying? Like Ember, he sat there and he licked my neck for over 5 minutes today. before I had him stop. I had to make him stop because I had to get up. But that is something that is awesome. Okay? That is something that is awesome. And I wanted to put that out there in this video because they know when you're in pain, they know when you're sick, and they will help you heal. They are animal spirits for a reason. And when you learn to awaken a spirit, an animal guide or spirit, to invite one to become your familiar, it could be one that's already passed away. It could be one that, is living. I have a lilac Siamese flame point mix little girl. She's my familiar. All these cats, these 3 cats that I have, and on top of these dogs, they all come to me. They all answer to me. They all want to be around me. My son's mother sits there and says, why is it that every time I see you, the dogs or the cats are always in a triangle around you? You kind of gotta, give her some slack though, because she is a Baptist woman. She's into Christianity. She's not into the witchcraft thing, but so she doesn't understand what an animal familiar is and why they do the things that they do. But yeah, so I figure in another few days, this is coming off. I'll probably just have a few bandages on. I go back on Thursday at 8 a.m. to have them look at it because they want to. And I guarantee it's going to blow their mind even more. But on another note, everybody from my son's mother to my own doctor have said you're going to need knee replacements by the time you're 50. I'm 46 years old. I'm doing weighted squat kicks. I'm outlasting huskies, which are working dogs. I'm doing push-ups again, because of my shoulder injuries. I'm doing them in inclines. I'm lifting weights, doing calisthenics. Wow. I guess these medical personnel get trained by the same idiots. Because today's medical field has forgotten the old ways of what most people today know as paganism or paganistic practices. I just call them the old school ways. But when it comes to spirits, when it comes to animals, there's a lot that you can do, and there's a lot that they will do when they want to protect you or to guide you. So, with that said, let me just go down here. Bennett Achapa 966. Like I already welcomed you, but I want to thank you for joining in here. Max Prowl Wachos R78, Truth or Dare. And then you turned around and said hi. No, you said truth or dare, not hi. So you might want to get your facts straight on that one. Just saying. And then you said a friend of yours from school was embarrassed because the girl he liked told the whole school. Who gives a shit? People come and go out of your life. It's a fact of life. The only one you can count on is yourself. Fuck what other people think. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them. You are the only one who can control how you feel. Plain and simple. Because the way I look at it, and I'm going to tell it to you straight, and this is what my son's mother hates about me, is I don't get upset. I don't get angry. Because to me, you're the one that's working yourself up into a frenzy. It's got nothing to do with me. I just got to the point where I just don't give a shit about hurting somebody's feelings. I'll tell it to you straight. But you're the only one who can control what you feel and what you do with your body. Like I said, they said I would need new joints in my body. Well, guess what? I'm doing Tai Chi, Qigong, Taoism, and calisthenics, and I'm weightlifting again after 15 years of doing what the fucking doctors want. When I said fuck you to them, I started listening to my spirit guides. I started listening to my elders. And you know what? Glad I did. Because now I'm transforming my body, building it from the ground up. I'm doing it myself with the help of my elders and my animal guides, not just my spiritual guides. In this is just the latest thing. 5 days. And I'm closing my fist, and they said I wouldn't do this for at least a month. 3 weeks to a month. That's 3 to 4 weeks. Wow. Really? 5 days? Talk about being pessimistic. Ooh, and yes, I just said it that way for a reason. Because I'm picking on them now. Interesting how that works, right? Yes, this knuckle, the elbow knuckle right here, that's still a little sensitive because of this right here, where the tooth went down through. Not into the joint, but really close to it. Then you got the big hole right here and the slice here. So it's like a 3-in-1 whammy to that one finger. Okay? But 3 to 4 weeks before I'm going to be able to bend my fingers? Really? In just 3 days, I was moving 3 fingers. 5 days, I'm bending my entire fucking hand. I'm moving my wrist. Wow. Now, if I can do that in just a week, what can you do when you get in line and listen to your familiars, both animal and spirits? Now, if you got a demon, a jinn, an Orisha, a Loa, for a spiritual guide, or even one of your ancestors, listen to them. Let them guide you. And you'll be doing the same, leaving people standing there in complete shock and utterly wondering how the fuck you did it. Ross K13 and Art1, welcome to the channel. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say. And until next time, remember 2 things. Whatever you preach, always back it up with numerous sources, and always make yourself available to the public, because you are responsible for the things that you do and say. All right? Have a good night and a good day wherever you are in the world. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, that notification button, so you don't miss my next videos. And like I said, that's up to you to do. If you like what I do, you like what I put forth, I will never lie to you. I will give it to you raw every fucking time. Plain and simple. I will back it up with numerous sources. And like I said, I'm right here. I've acknowledged everybody that's posted. And I've even answered a couple of the things that were said. That's called making yourself available to the public. That's what a good leader does. That's what an elder does. So, have a good night, a good day. Until next time, I'm out.